Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to India Automation Hub. This is a platform for industrial automation and manufacturing community in India. So you can head over to indiaautomationhub.com for recordings, articles, and more. And this webinar will also be available to you after this session as a recorded version on our platforms. This is the fifth episode of Automation Unplugged. We have honest conversation with practitioners about what is actually changing in the Indian industry. And my guest today has spent decades in the pharmaceutical research and manufacturing, working on some of the most complex drug delivery systems in the field. Uh, Welcome, Dr. Datta. Please give you a short introduction about yourself.
Thank you, Rutu. Uh, and hi to all your audiences. I am Dr. Tathagata Dutta, pharmacist by education. Did my graduation, post graduation, and then PhD and postdoc in pharmaceutical sciences, and my management diploma from IIM Calcutta, and obviously degree in law and intellectual properties as well. So I'm basically a scientist and over 23 years of experience in pharmaceutical research and development. Worked for multiple drug delivery platforms. Was instrumental in development of some of the very complex, innovative products, vaccines, biologics, and my core area of expertise is obviously liposomes, microspheres, nanoparticles, cantilever-based all targeted therapies and gene delivery, gene therapy. I'm working on gene therapy since my master's days. And obviously, as I always say, that later on move to other verticals of pharmaceutical sciences like manufacturing, quality, and regulatory, and other things. So, and presently I'm associated with Jodas Expoim. It's a high level specialty pharmaceutical company engaged in development, manufacturing, end-to-end process of pharmaceuticals as well as biopharmaceuticals.
Great, sir. You have a lot of experience, and we are grateful that you're here with us today. So, you began in advanced drug delivery research, right? And now you lead companies supplying to more than 50 countries, you said. So, what has changed most in how Indian pharma manufacturers over those 2 decades, in your experience?
Yeah, so a lot of things have changed, but the a major paradigm shift which I can see in amongst the manufacturers is that earlier the manufacturers were very much risk adverse. They were more into me too generic development, manufacturing, or sale distribution, whatever it is. They wanted quick returns. They were after low hanging fruits. So low hanging fruits doesn't come from highly regulated markets like US or Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, where you have to invest time, money, and then even after developing the product, filing the product, the approval takes time. But so they used to always take the easiest route, the semi-regulated and the regulated markets. But nowadays, what I can see is that they are aiming towards the high value, highly regulated markets. That's one major paradigm shift. Another thing is that most of the manufacturers these days, they are very much keen on innovation. They simply they don't go for doing something me too drugs, and they are not happy taking a small share of their pie. There are companies in India, even small companies, mid-sized companies, other than the big companies, obviously, who are doing real innovation, cutting edge innovation. There are companies which came up with the first indigenously developed new chemical entity just 1 year back, and now another this year. So new chemical entities are getting approved by the Indian companies. And then I know a lot of Indian companies are also working on new biological entities also, which are more riskier game, and they are not shying away from doing clinical trials. And one thing quickly I should add to this is that Indian academia is playing a major role to this. There are now, in earlier days it was only industry, but now center of excellences, all the national institutes, like especially I should mention the name of IIT Mumbai. They are doing lot of innovation work, which is translating into a actual new product in the market.
So let us start with where the science is heading, because that actually drives everything else, right?
Mhm.
Which emerging modalities and delivery systems will, in your opinion, most reshape how factories are designed? And what do they demand that a conventional line cannot provide?
So first thing is that the among the small molecules, uh, so normally the conventional therapies are mostly small molecules, small molecular weights, which are usually synthetic or semi-synthetic drugs. So these are amongst them. These are obviously there is a shift that they are the targeted therapies are becoming more and more popular these days. So tissue targeted delivery systems, as I said, that in earlier days when you used to talk, people used to think it as a fantasy, but now they are realities. There are lot many such products. They are available not only in US market but in Indian market also. Many nanotechnology based pharmaceutical products, they are available in Indian market. So they are where the drug is delivered with perfect precision and accuracy to the target site. There is a very, very limited off target effect. So, because of which these molecules are delivering the perfect, efficacy at a much, much lower dose. And obviously, the adverse effects are less. This is one part. Then, as I said, the biologics is also taken care of. So 20 years back, this biologics was something, if you would have to talk to, with the some clinicians, it was like something Greek or Hebrew for them. They, what is biologics, they used to say. But now, especially the oncologists, the rheumatologists, they are giving the patients the choice. Do you whether your insurance is allowing immunotherapy, whether your insurance is allowing this, we are if you take a biologics, your success rate is much higher. They are explaining the things, and they are available in Indian market. Third thing is obviously the gene therapy, where low volume, high value products. They are the permanent solution, permanent cure for any genetic disorders. Especially, they are very good for the kids and all. So all this actually requires specialized lines, specialized equipments, and you cannot do it in a conventional line. Like biologics are done in a separate manufacturing facility because of the immunogenicity issues and other issues. Biologics, they are originated from live cells. They are not synthetically produced. So that's why biologics are actually manufactured not in regular pharmaceutical fill finish facility, but they require a dedicated plant. Similarly, when you talk about the gene therapy products, these gene therapy products are so low volume that you require a low volume manufacturing line for them. Again, when we talked about these targeted therapies, liposomes, microspheres, nanoparticles, which are targeted to, suppose they target only to the cancer cells, they don't kill any other healthy cells. So the systematic adverse effect of the chemotherapy is not there. These things actually requires a special manufacturing line. It is not only doses form specific, it is specific to particular molecule as well, because the the process, each and every product have an entirely different manufacturing process. So then everything has a dedicated skid system is required for transferring from one vessel to another, another to another, and everything. So these things has to be designed. So the manufacturing facility, since this is the platform for automation hub, and that's why I'm explaining it a bit detail in this part, that
Sure.
it requires a rather a fully automated facility rather than the things which we used to do earlier days manually, transferring from one vessel to another or something or the other. So this is the demand of today.
Thank you for the explanation.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So, across discovery, design, and the plant, what do you think AI is producing real results today? You know, like a reality, what do you think is happening? And where is it still largely marketing?
So AI is still largely marketing in the compliance side of it, where Earlier, the compliance part was quality part was the previous concept was quality control, where you do sampling of that. Once the batch is executed or in process samples, you do the testing and it passes, means the batch goes to the next level, and the finished product it passes, means you finally you release the product to the market. But then came the concept of quality assurance, where you assure the quality at every stage, and you maintain that if my product is within the set specific process parameters, then I'm confident that each and every unit will pass the final specification. That was the quality assurance. I am assuring the quality, because quality control was completely a game of probability. It was like statistically, if say x quantity of samples through random sampling have passed, then my entire batch will comply. But that's again, as I said, it's a statistical probability. But here it is a quality assurances that you yourself are assured that it will pass. Hmm. That was one part. But then still batch failures happen, still market recalls happen, still a lot of unwanted side effects happen. And then the concept of, like earlier, when batch failure is related, that is out of specification. When it goes beyond specification, you have to discard the batch. But then came that out of trend. Hmm. Out of trend when it comes, so you do a trend analysis. So your certain process parameter or certain specification, it goes beyond the trend. It is though within the specification, but it is going out of the trend. There you can foresee that the batch might encounter a problem at a later stage, and you can check that before it fails. That was the trend, that was the practice. And here AI actually is going to give you an alert well in advance before even it goes out of trend also, that there is a probability that this can go out of trend. And if required, certain times it is going to stop your manufacturing process, halt you, unless you take corrective action. So the probability of batch failure is coming to near zero.
Yes.
The probability of your any adverse effect from the market is coming down. All these things are happening. But apart from that, other cases also, AI is playing a major role, but that that is something which is not very much in public domain. So, like when somebody used to discover a new molecule, new product, it was completely a trial and error method. So we have a hypothesis, I have a concept of a lead, and then generate hundreds and thousands of lead around that and test each and every lead till I get a good correct response. And then I go for clinical trial. If it passes in phase one, it goes to phase two, but it might fail in phase two. If it passes in phase two, it can go to phase three, but it can fail there also. So they used to say, fail fast, so that you save money at least. But now, even before I take a call, first thing is when I have a lead identification through a hypothesis, I can give, I can input that everything to AI, and AI can virtually screen it against some virtual patient population and all those things. And AI can suggest me that out of these so many leads, these have a probability of success. This is the hit ratio. All these things AI will tell me. And then based on that, I select out of say 100, or I'll select 3 leads and I'll go for the next stage. Again, based on the data analysis and all, AI will tell me this thing. I'm not saying that AI implementing AI will give me 100% success, but still the probability of success. And second thing is the time and money. What one discovery used to say 20, 30 years can be done within 5 to 7 years. This is the beauty.
Oh, that is quite a
Again,
leap, yeah.
use AI as your assistant. Use AI as your secretary. Don't use AI as your boss or your mentor or your advisor. Don't make decisions based on AI.
That's good advice. My audio is clear for everyone, I hope, right? You can hear me, sir? My audio is okay?
I can hear you very clearly.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome. I'm just checking that because we have a very rainy season and the network and
I
everything
can
is
understand that here also it's a monsoon season, and I can
right. Yes, so I just wanted to ask you, do the Indian organizations have the data quality and the volume to train AI on?
Indian companies, they have plenty of data, and quality of data is also there, and AI itself can filter out the data which is of quality and what is of poor quality. That's not an issue. But the thing is that, again, another thing which AI requires is any AI tool requires is the validation part. So once you train an AI to do something, first you have to teach that this is the thing. So with known problems, you have to train them, and then you will get the solutions. And since your problem is known, you know the solution. So whether they are giving the correct solution or not, you can check it with your answers. And once the validation passes, then only you have to upload the unknown thing and ask the solution from AI. So this validation is very important. And somewhere I feel that uh, Indian companies are a bit scared about the data security, so they are not very much open to share those known data to AI tools so as to validate their system, because every AI tool has to be customized as per the user requirement, and then again it has to be validated with the user data, known data itself. So because I have done this, so I know this thing very well. I faced this. I also had that apprehension earlier, that if I am using and I'm sharing some data, whether it will be go into the public domain or somebody else will be using it, or if I am training the AI, that training AI will use for somebody else's thing. But we have to be assured that this is customized solution for every company. The service provider will prepare the tool based on your particular requirement. So that cannot be used for somebody else. That will not be useful for other
Yes,
person.
understood, sir. Anything before I close this section, any widely repeated claim about AI in pharma that you want to push back on?
Along with your AI, what comes hand in hand is the digitization. So everything has to be digitized, and this is again a very very important part in pharma manufacturing industry, because if you see, we have a practice in pharma that we have to display the SOPs everywhere, and even in front of all the equipments in the wall we put these things. Now, there is a concern that, when we talk about cross contamination and all those things, and when we clean the room, clean the equipments and all, the paper remains the same. And that can be a source of cross contamination. That can be a source of microbial growth. And if we are doing everything digitized, where the SOPs is also digitized, where everything they can see, the lab notebooks, the batch manufacturing records, everything. And second thing is, this digitization will also help us to overcome the biggest issue which the pharma and biopharma industry today faces, is the data integrity issue. Data integrity is very big thing, and the only solution to data integrity is digitization.
Okay. So I know you touched on this before, but I just still wanted to ask you if there's anything particular before I move to the next session. What do these harder differentiated products demand, from automation, process control, and these digital systems that conventional generic products never did? And anything specific you want to say in terms of technology requirements, that come with complex manufacturing?
So this harder, difficult to manufacture niche products, they are very very process sensitive, unlike the conventional generic tablets, capsules, and liquid injections and all, where you used to keep a broader range for each and every process parameters. Here these are very very process sensitive, where a slightest change in that will adversely affect the product quality, and in turn it will affect the safety and efficacy of the. And that is the reason actually this AI and digitization and automation, especially because when human beings we will do something, The margin of error there, everything will have some certain margin of error, but human beings margin of error will be much higher. Like nowadays injectable manufacturing facility, earlier also it was class A injectable manufacturing facility, now also it is like that. But now most of the companies, they are voluntarily, they are implementing robotic systems in injectable manufacturing facility. It is not because human beings are making any mistakes, but it is because, see, every human being, whatever you do, but whenever they are inhaling or exhaling the air, they are inhaling certain microbes and they are exhaling certain microbes along with their breath. They carry certain microbes along with their body, and these things actually increases the bioburden in the sterile area, the aseptic area. So if you are in fact using this type of automated systems, robotic arms and all those things, they will definitely reduce the bioburden, and obviously the safety profile of the product, especially the injectables, will be much higher.
Now that you said that, I want to understand a few variables. Like, so where does a translation from lab to commercial scale most often break? Is it the chemistry, equipment, analytics, or like you said, the people?
Translation from lab to process. So and probably so I work on translation research mostly. So that's the reason I understand this a bit. And that is the only difference between an invention and an innovation. So invention is something where you invent something new, first time in the world, you do it in the lab, whatever it might be. But if you, when you invent something which can be transferable to a commercially viable product, which can be manufactured in a commercial scale and to be made available to the common public, then only it becomes an innovation. So here many things that plays a role. So the person who is inventing, that person has to have a fair knowledge about the entire process, systems, manufacturing, machinability. She should have the thing that I have invented something, but what use it has to come. Otherwise, it will not be of any use. Like there is a famous story that, when Michael Faraday gave his laws of based on which electricity can be produced and electromagnetism and all. So he presented in the Royal Society, and the scientists were overwhelmed with the thing. But then, when the British Prime Minister asked him, "But what use did it to me?" then he said, "Sir, this will produce something which you are going to sell and you are going to earn." So he meant about electricity. So then you are going to earn a lot of tax. So Prime Minister understands tax. So he talked about tax and Prime Minister was happy. So scientist has to be like that. They should know what is the implication, how I am going to do it, and how it is going to translate into a product and it is going to reach the people. That is the thing. And most of the cases, there is a huge gap between that. Many That's why if you see plenty of patents are filed, granted, but how many of them translates into a product? Very few.
Understood, sir. So, audience, please drop in any questions you want in the chat. I will try and address. Uh, because is the bottleneck analytics and data, rather
Mhm.
than chemistry?
Other than chemistry. So bottlenecks in analytics and data is also there. As I said, the analytics tools has to be properly designed and customized. So they are still not the same which each and every scientist they love to have it, because I am looking for some particular solution. The analytics is analyzing it in a different way and giving me a different solution. So lot of work has to. So these analytics people and the data scientists have to work hand in hand with the scientists who are working in the benches and understand their requirements and give them the solutions. So that is a big area which is lagging. And I am actually very confident, because there are a lot of companies, especially the startup companies, coming up every day, and they are doing a lot of good work, actually coming up newer solutions. And when we tell them that I need this, I need that, and they are doing those modifications. They are taking the inputs and they're doing it. So things are happening.
Okay, understood. Sir, how early must design for manufacturability enter the program, and what does it cost to bolt it on late, like retrofitting it?
Retrofitting it not only adds to the cost in terms of money, but it also adds to the cost in terms of time, which again translates to money. And sometimes there are incidences which I remember where the entire project has to be abandoned, the product has to be dropped because the manufacturing facility was not unable to support that. So it is retrofitting is not a very good idea, especially these days, sitting in these days where we know we work on extremely complex and technology and science driven products where this retrofitting is not possible. So what I believe is that to hold the hand of the scientists who are doing the innovations, there has to be set of process development scientists who will be guiding them from the beginning itself, and they will be parallelly working on first thing is the machinability of the process, whether I can do it. Everyone can prepare something just by mixing it in a mortar and pestle or beaker and with a spatula. But that same thing in which manufacturing equipment, what should be the scale, what should be the environmental conditions, what should be the batch size, all those things has to be considered, which probably a process technologist can advise the scientist from the beginning. Like another thing which I always say is the role of packaging scientist is increasing day by day. So earlier packaging was like a supporting department for this R&D people. Once a product is developed, everything is ready. Then finally they used to call somebody packaging guy, and they find out the packaging material for this. And their objective was also that the packaging has to be fully, it should be compliant with the regulations, and as well as it should be appealing to the consumer. That was the two objectives. But we are forgetting that packaging is something that is the only and the first line of contact between the consumer and the product. They are not holding the product, they are actually holding the packaging material. Product is inside. So packaging plays a major role, and packaging actually imparts stability to the product. Packaging materials actually sometimes leaks into the product, contaminate the product. Like how many of us are aware that we are using this plastic bottles for drinking water, and this plastic actually leaks into the bottle. Especially there is a very toxic chemical called bisphenol, which is highly carcinogenic, and it actually leaks inside the drinking water. So how many people they call or do a Google search saying that what is the leachable and extractable data of your packaged drinking water? We should ask it from the manufacturer, and manufacturer is obliged to provide it. That yes, if you store at room temperature, then after 2 years, I am putting a shelf life or expiry date of say 6 months. Within 6 months, this much material will leak, which is below the safety limit. Or say if I am keeping it at refrigerated condition, the leakage will be much faster. So do not put in fridge or do not chill. Keep at room temperature. This type should come in the label. These things has to, so packaging scientists also should involved in development of the product from the beginning, and they should find out the ideal packaging material, because many of the products, high value products, they actually get degraded because of poor selection of packaging material. Nowadays there are, earlier we used to talk about storing a product 2 to 8 degrees centigrade in fridge. Then during COVID times we came to know that there are the vaccines, mRNA vaccines, which have to be stored at -20 and -70 also. So, and now many people they are not aware we have cell and gene therapy products where live cells they are stored at still lower temperature. Still lower temperature they are stored, and there are cryopreservation tanks are there from where these cells, living cells, are shipped from one place to another. So these involvement of the MSAT people, technology people, the packaging people from the beginning should be there, and obviously the production guys, quality guys, rather than retrofitting that is the only way that we can completely deliver it.
So, when we're considering India's manufacturing base, is it equipped for what is now being discovered, or are we designing products or plans that it cannot yet make?
There are companies, especially in the CDMO space, who can manufacture in a very large scale this type of novel technologies, new therapies, and I mean to say contract manufacturing and development and manufacturing organizations. And they are the service providers. They are doing providing service to world's topmost companies based out of India, and they are giving high end quality products and with a much competitive price. So earlier, our capability, even in generic space, was that our scale, economics of scale was very poor. We used to manufacture in a much lower scale as compared to some of our neighboring countries where they will do it in huge scale and bring down the cost to pennies worth. Now these CDMOs are doing the same thing. So India is becoming a preferred a destination or a manufacturing hub for these type of industries. But yes, as far as the in-house product manufacturing is concerned, vertically oriented companies, they are still to catch on to augmenting their manufacturing capability to manufacture at such a large scale, especially these high value products. So that is the difference.
And also, what capability has to be built in India over the next 5 years, according to you, sir?
Capability, we have technical capability is there. We have knowledge base is there. Uh, we have to have very big manufacturing capabilities with the scales. That is one thing. And another thing which is about very less talked about uh, fact, which I feel this is one of the pain points of the industry, and government should pay an attention towards this, is the regulations. The judicial part of it has to be reformed drastically. Because what happens is here, when somebody is suppose outsourcing some work here, and he's transferring his intellectual property to a particular manufacturing site where manufacturing happens, and there is a slightest breach of confidentiality can jeopardize his entire business plan. But our laws are not that much equipped to handle such situations. Our judicial system moves in its own pace, and it takes years and years. If somebody breaches any agreement or breaches any particular clause, then to get a relief from the court, it takes years. So that should give the confidence to the investors who are investing in India. Another part which again I want to mention here when we are talking about the legal thing. So this has to grow up. This has to grow up. Everything, such type of commercial disputes has to be time bound. Resolution has to be there, which has a commercial implications. Alternate dispute resolution method should be more focused on, rather than going to the court. Arbitration, mediation, conciliation, all these things has to be coming up more. And one more thing, which is another pain point of the industry, is the intellectual property laws and our IPR system in India, which is very slow. In India, when we do an innovation in India, we file a patent application, and then after 6 weeks, we are allowed to go to international arena, filing a PCT application, and then we can go national phase to any country. So now the thing is that though before 6 weeks we file in India, but there are cases, incidences where we get our patent granted in whole world, but in India still the application is pending. And every time you have to respond to any query and all those things, you have to do an affidavit, you have to in a court paper, everything. All this paperwork has to be done. On the other hand, I have my experience that based on direct emails, direct phone calls, the examiner talks with the innovator and grants the patent. So these things has to be made more streamlined. This legal arena has to be made more streamlined so that you know investors get confidence, the innovators also have the fair share of their thing. They are now scared that if I invent something, whether my IP will be protected. They are not sure because he might not be granted patent in India. It might be granted in US, but not in India. So India, anybody can copy it, and in they can launch it.
Yes. So we spoke about a lot of things, and I would love to get into a little bit more of the connected plant and in terms of traceability. So what does a genuinely connected pharma plan looks like in terms of NAS, electronic wax records, digital twin, and where do you think a manufacturer should realistically start?
So a connected manufacturing plant is first thing is it is fully system and process driven. And if it is fully connected, the thing is that the most important thing is there will not be any issue of data integrity. Because this is again in the beginning itself, I said data integrity is something which is the pain point of the industry also. This is the pain point of the regulators also, the US FDA and all other agencies. So we all are human beings. We do mistakes, and mistakes are acceptable, provided you document it properly. You find out the root cause why you have done that mistake, and you make sure that it is not repeated. But when you do a mistake intentionally, it is not a mistake. Or if you try to hide a mistake, then it's not a mistake. Then it is an integrity issue. It is a dishonesty issue, and everyone have an issue with dishonesty. And here in a fully integrated pharmaceutical plant, most actually automation takes care of all this part. So when a process order is released, material is dispensed from the warehouse till the batch manufacturing record is generated, EBMR, the everything is in the shop floor. Everything happens on real time basis, and it is without manual intervention. All the data is pulled out from the machine rather than the operator feeding it. That at this time I have started the machine. These are my process parameters. All these things you already preloaded the recipes, and at each and every time the machine is running in that within that range. Whatever is coming, it is getting recorded there, and those things are going on. And one major thing in India, it is still not implemented, but Indian companies, they are much ahead of the domestic market. They are following something called track and trace and serialization from quite some time. So this track and trace and serialization actually identifies a product through whether the 2D barcode or QR code or something. So when you receive product in the packing material, you scan it, and immediately you get all the details in which manufacturing facility was manufactured, what was the expiry date, what was the manufacturing date, what was the batch release date, what is the certificate of analysis, everything you come to know. This also helps not only the regulators but common people. They to fight against counterfeit and spurious drugs, adulterated drugs, because our domestic market is fully flooded with counterfeit, spurious, adulterated, misbranded drugs. There are a lot of products, even especially not which are not in the pharma space, but in nutraceutical, cosmeceutical space. Again, Nutra cosmetics, these are equally, they can call equal damage to the body, but there the regulations are much poor, and they can cause havoc. They can kill people. They have the capability to kill people. And these things you can check that whether what excipients they have used, whether any expiry date is there or not. All these things you can check if proper track and trace and serialization is there, and everything is fully integrated, automated. So automation is the key. If everything is automated, then obviously end-to-end traceability will be there. End-to-end accountability will be there. It is not only good for the manufacturers. Suppose initially when we approach the manufacturers will say that my initial capex investment will be very high, but they forget that once they invest it, their batch failures will not be there, market recalls will be not be there. Also, people who are counterfeiting the medicines, suppose X company is selling a brand Y, another Z company is taking that brand Y again and selling it in the counterfeit drug. That you can overrule that, and you can just that business also come to you only because they are eating away your business. So in long term, actually, your revenue income will increase. So initial investment is there, but revenue income will increase. So that is the benefit.
That is some interesting insights.
Yes.
Sir, we spoke about data integrity, and I still want to ask you that this is like a large share of regulatory findings, right? So how does this real-time digital care change that versus paper records?
So suppose somebody is weighing a particular sample and taking a printout and attaching it in the thing. And there are certain things which are they have to note it down manually or take a printout of. But if you are using this entire digital records, what will happen is your electronic lab notebook, electronic batch manufacturing record, everything will pull out the data. Suppose my process order says dispense API X 0.1987 grams. Now I cannot accurately weigh that much. Something less, something more, and that much quantity will I have to write. There is a human tendency that human beings will write or try to write that same quantity, or they will plus minus 0.001 mg here, gram here and there. But here it is connected with your balance also. So it is already picking up how much balance is showing. No need of taking a printout also. Then it goes to the next step. So every step it is actually showing the actual quantity. When you are dispense material you are putting into the tanks, before that again you check the tear weight, and because some material will stick to your polybags or somewhere, there will be some process loss. Again, there is a tendency to do some plus minus. This will not happen. It will automatically put up. This will also reduce the efforts of human beings. They don't have to apply their mind and all, and spontaneously the records will be pulled out. That's all.
Understood, sir. And sir, um, I want to ask you about so this manufacturing also leaves a very significant footprint, right? So I want to sort of ask you about the sustainability part of this. So where are the largest sustainability gains in a pharma plant? Solvents, water, energy, or simply fewer failed batches?
Starting, I'll say earlier, even still people use, earlier it was coal generated boilers and all, and then came the furnace oil. Still most of the companies they use furnace oil, but the area where I am sitting right now, there we have the gas burners where the boiler is running in gas, and there are companies I know they are using electricity as well. So this is the sustainable thing. Another part of sustainability is water. So it is not about not consuming the solvents and using water, but reducing the usage of water and recycling the water. So I have seen manufacturing facilities typically use, say, 500,000, I mean, 5 lakh liters to 10 lakh liters of water per day. Can you imagine this much water one manufacturing facility is using? So this type of this also have to play a role, that how we are going to reduce the consumption of water. And third thing is this proper treatment and recycling of this water has to be done. These are the two major aspects in pharma where sustainability plays a major role. Apart from that, there are other areas also where sustainability plays a role. Like there are process manufacturing processes where they use, uh, say, kiloliters of organic solvents. The API industry and the fine chemical industry, they manufacture organic solvents only. And those organic solvents, they are very much toxic to the environment. So that people are coming up with green chemistry, circular chemistry, and all, so that the consumption is reducing, if not zero. And there are some examples where I know that people have come up with solutions where API synthesis is completely uh, without organic solvents. They are doing it. Few APIs, I am sure in future lot more will come. And also, like, even in manufacturing facility, people are using, instead of glass, they are using PPE and other things for as a container closure systems for injections and all those things. Again, when you use like glass ampoules or all these ampoules, sealing is by use of something like gas, LPG or CNG. But nowadays, there are sealing equipments available where you can use ultrasonic waves. We can use ultrasonic waves, so that less heat generation, or almost zero heat generation, zero carbon emission, and obviously fuel consumption, everything is there. So sustainability is playing a big role. And another part I just want to say, in packaging, because we use lot of glass and all these polymers. And in pharma, you reusing those things is something which is a strict no, because we are very much adverse to cared about cross contamination. So nowadays, biodegradable polymers are coming up, which are actually, you can use it and it goes inside the body, or you throw away anywhere, it gets biodegradable and mixed with the environment.
Understood, sir. Thank you. And we are at the very end of our
Yeah.
uh, the time. So I just wanted to ask you a few more questions so we can,
Sure, we can do a quick rapid fire.
yeah. Then we can go into the questions from our audience. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I want to ask you about the cyber risk, because cyber risk in pharma is usually framed as production downtime, right? So how do you think about it as a threat to research, IP, and sort of supply continuity?
Cyber risk is obviously a threat, but still, pharma manufacturing facilities or R&Ds, they are very much, secured. So I don't foresee that anything is happening in near future. I don't know when we are moving towards. Anyway, this cyber people are also advancing. They are having their tools and all those things. So might be in future this happens. And IP thing is, from beginning itself, if you start securing your intellectual property, whatever you do, immediately you start filing the provisional applications and all those things, then I don't foresee there is also any problem. You disclose everything and you apply for patent or design or copyright, whatever it is.
Okay, sir. And sir, as I think you touched upon this topic a bit, uh, as Indian firms, move from generics towards innovation, how does the IB, the whole conversation change for the company and for the country? And who should, own the generated data, the data generated in India for a global partner?
If you are doing like a service provider, you are doing for some client sitting in some other country, so obviously, innovator obviously will be the person who has invented that in India, done the innovation. But the assignee should be the company who have invested in that. That's very fair and clear. Law is very clear about that. Even the Indian company can be the assignee, but then Indian company will have a out licensing agreement well in advance, that whatever will come or be the outcome, even any accidental outcome of this project, will also be owned by the sponsor company. So that is even the law is very clear about that. And if there is any, but I believe that the agreement should also be like that way only. So it is something like, like the producer of a movie, he owns the all the money and everything, and the director, script writer, he gets all the awards and all.
Okay. So, and I sort of want to get your view on how India is being perceived in the global pharma map, and also uh, whether India is genuinely moving into higher value work, or whether the talent and the outcomes still flow outward.
Still the talent and outcomes are still flowing outwards. We call ourselves the pharmacy of the world, but still, our and we export to more than 40% of generics to US and whole world. But if you see in terms of revenue, our revenue share is less than 4%. And one more thing, it is hard to digest, but it's the bitter truth. I give an example of a molecule called Etruda, pembrolizumab. So, which it is a drug for cancer, and Merck is selling it worldwide in the name of Etruda. And this has made a business of more than 40 billion US dollar in last financial year 2025-26. One molecule. And our overall India's pharma export globally, not to US but to whole world, is 31 billion US dollar. So we are not the whole as a country, as a conglomerate of lot of companies. We are still not at par with one single molecule. So that is our status, which is not very encouraging. But yes, as we see, companies are investing in innovation. There are companies, they are acquiring innovator companies, Indian companies are acquiring Indian companies and all those things. So future is very bright. Scenario is changing. But till now, things are, we have to look it in a microscopic level.
So yeah, to just follow up with that, are we moving toward new medicines actually being discovered and developed out of India in the next decade? What do you think?
Yes,
Uh,
yes. As I said, last year, one antibiotic got the new drug approval from US and other countries, and it is there in the market. After almost 20 years, the first new antibiotic came into the market, and this year again one more antibiotic by another Indian company, new chemical entity came out. There are almost another 5 to 10 new chemical entities by Indian companies are sitting in the pipeline. We're in different stages of approval with US FDA. So things are changing. And as I said, there are small companies, startup companies, they are working on biologics, new biological entities. And here, major role is also played by the academic institutions like the IITs, All India Institute of Medical Science, and all these things. I myself personally have collaboration with all these premier institutes and many things we are doing. Government is very supportive these days about all these things.
okay, sir. Okay. And so before closing, I just wanted to ask you like one thing you would ask this audience, the engineers, technologists, manufacturers, to do differently. What would
So yes, so first thing which I can say many things, and I have already talked, but one thing which I want to say is that the age is gone where people we can do the work in silos. We have to work as a team. We have to work in collaboration, more and more collaborative work. Now, even three, four, five companies together can come up with a new product, new molecule, innovation, rather than thinking that I will be doing the end to end, because nobody is an expert on everything. I might be knowing patches of everything, but I am not an expert. My expertise lies in only one particular field. So we have to have experts in every field. So cross collaboration is very important. Cross continental collaboration is much better choice, and that is the only way to survive in these turbulent times.
Okay, so we will move on to the questions we have from our audience, and we'll keep it
Sure.
short and sweet. So Mayank Jelly asks, how is penetration of physical AI into
Hmm.
medical?
Hmm.
What's the scope of that, and what's the penetration of that currently?
So physical penetration is much higher than the virtual one, but then obviously I exactly don't have the numbers to support the things.
Definitely. So Mayank, please drop us a mail, and we will anything that you
You
want
can
to know.
follow it up later on. Yes.
Yeah, we can definitely follow up with that later. So, and Vijay Sagu asks, what skills should today's pharma professionals develop to stay relevant in the era of smart manufacturing?
Yes. So, pharma professionals should be. I am talking only in terms of manufacturing part, not R&D or something. So, pharma professionals should be very much well equipped with the advanced tools and the process technologies available. And one basic part is, whether you are in manufacturing or whether you are R&D, especially in manufacturing, you should be very much thorough with your subject of physical pharmacy, because that is the basic. will tell you why something takes more time to go into solution, sometimes it takes less, and why some turbulent solution are there, everything, so which you can anticipate, and you can guide your R&D guys during a process or development or technology transfer.
Okay, okay. Vijay Saru, the same person, also asked, what are the regulatory expectations for AI-generated manufacturing decisions?
AI generated manufacturing decisions are still not very much welcome. It is AI generated manufacturing suggestions will be there, which has to be vetted by human beings. Decision has to be taken till still date at least, because as I said, AI is still learning. AI is still growing up. It's like a nascent. It is at a nascent state. It's just a child, newborn, infant. So it can give you suggestions. It is learning, but then decision is yours.
Okay. Uh, Dr. Srinas, any updates on TB and the malaria vaccine?
TB and malaria vaccine, TB vaccine we already have, but the BCG vaccine, still the conventional BCG vaccine. Nothing, no further updates. But yes, malaria vaccines are coming up. Some of the companies have already done clinical trials, and they are very much successful. And one more thing I would like to add that even some big multinational companies, they have even came up successfully with dengue vaccine, and this is something which causes a lot of deaths in India. Uh, Unfortunately, this trial is pending in India, and after that they will launch it in India as well. But the results are very much, encouraging, and I'm hopeful even they can get a waiver also for the city waiver for India.
Fantastic. Audience, you're getting exclusive information on in the automation hub. I'll take a few more questions, and before that,
Sure, sure.
so we have another question from Sanjay Audi. He's a QA manager from MCure. So he's asking, we have moved to electronic batch records, but QA review still takes almost as long as before. Where does review by exception actually save time, and where does it not?
Uh, yes, that's a very good question. And yes, QA review takes almost same time, but that's the good part that QA is still doing their job. And as I said, that we are still at the hand holding stage. So where both the things should go on together. We cannot leave this like this. And yes, after a few more years, we'll see that your work will be much easier. Review will be, you will be only reviewing few highlighted things. Like today, if you go to a doctor and you do the medical tests, then the doctor has to again, AI generated one report will come, but then still the doctor will again go through each and everything, because one for again for decision making, one human mind is required. But there will be AI will be trained in such a manner after a few more years that the doctor's job will be much easier. He will just see only the pain points, and he will give you the final conclusion.
Yeah, that the human that is still very much inevitable, I think.
Yes, yes.
And uh, from Aliva's life, he's a quality manager. He asks, most of our quality issues are caught at release, not during the process. What does it really take to catch them in process? Is it with the equipment or getting more predictive with our data that we have?
More predictive with the data. We have to be more predictive with the data so that you don't reach to that stage where quality issues are caught at the batch release stage, and we have to take corrective action.
Veer Bhatt from Torque, he asks, a lot of my equipment is 10, 15 years old and validated. Getting data out is not easy. Can these older machines be retrofitted without triggering requalification? Or is it better to wait for next investment and capex?
It can be done. Retrofitting can be done, but it is always my suggestion will be to wait for a couple of years and get the newer equipments, invest in the campus.
We'll take two, three, four more questions and we'll wrap up today's session. Is that okay? I hope that's okay. We are a little bit over time, but yeah.
Sure, sure. I'm
Sa-
good.
I mean, I'm excited to see the questions coming from the audience. That's why. So Sagar Shah from La Renon Healthcare, he asks, the payback on digital projects is harder to prove than a capacity or capex
True, true,
project.
true.
What number have you seen actually get this approved?
So again, these are all certain intangible things which they immediately don't pay back. But if you are I don't know in which capacity you are working, but if you are working in projects or something in production or wherever it is, you should project to the management that how many batch failures happened in say past historical or based on historical data, how many market recalls were there, how many market complaints were there, and these things could have been avoided. And so by showing that, at least you can show that the how quickly you can get back the revenue. Like I can give you which might not be relevant, but very quickly, I when I made a case to the management making 5-day week instead of 6-day week working. That time I prepared a case that how much money I am going to save per month, and also how many hours the employees are going to save per month if they just reduce their 1 day working traveling time and instead they increase the working hours by say half an hour every day. So 5 day if they're working instead of 6 day, and the numbers were really appealing. The numbers
Okay.
should speak for us. And I think
Uh,
this example is interesting for everyone. Those who are not working in automation also.
I'm sure. Vijay Sagu have one more question, that how will digital supply chains improve resilience against global disruptions?
Digital supply chain actually improve the resilience in many folds. But yes, global disruptions, obviously, the forecasting the inventory and everything should be there. We have to have reserves. And now all countries are now putting emphasis on local manufacturing. So that is also going to take care of that. And one more thing that digital supply chain and all which I see is that it's actually helping us to come out of the bullwhip effect in the supply chain management, where the one very minor or demand in the market gets magnified when it reaches to the manufacturing site, and the batches are manufactured and afterwards there were no takers for that one. So these things actually digital supply chain management is helping us so that we know the actual quantity which is to be produced rather than the inflated quantity.
Okay. So Deepak Yadav, he's a senior project engineer from Ace Technology. He's asking, we see many connected plan projects go live and then stall after a few months. What makes it stick in some plans and not others?
So probably they have not done a proper risk assessment, and they have anticipated that, or might be they have fall short of funds, and there might be such issues.
Okay. We have Surya Balaji Jagannathan. He's a senior application executive from Adroit Tech Engineering. He's asking, digital twins and simulation often don't match with what happens on the floor. In your experience, what's a good use case to start with where it can help?
So digital twins, especially on floor, and when you talk about digital twins, this is something which we talk again and again because the simulated conditions are almost I'm saying near to the actual conditions in the plant, but still there are exceptions. But we don't have a choice. We have to use digital twins.
Okay. And we have our last question. Munjal Gajjar, it's a tech lead from STPL Global. They're asking, as plan get implemented, with more investment, will India lose cost advantage fades? Then what will remain as a real advantage going next for Indian pharma?
No, if what I if I have understood the question properly, he is asking that if more investment is there, do we have the cost advantage? So definitely, because if we can manufacture the things in a bigger scale, then definitely we'll have the cost advantage. We can bring down the price drastically, and we can be much more competitive enough to the other rival countries, and that's how we can become relevant in this field.
Okay, thank you. So I think that's it for our session today. And Dr. Datta, this has been a genuinely wide-ranging and insightful conversation. Thank you for being on Automation Unplugged, and we are honored to host you. And for
Thank you. Thank you, and thanks to the audience as well, because they were so patiently hearing and asking so many interesting questions. So this is just the beginning of a discussion, which Rutu already has said. So any further questions are there, you people can always write, and we'll all will be happy to answer it.
yes, for everyone watching, those who joined a bit late or had any network issues, the recording will be our Automation Hub, and it will be on our social media handles and YouTube. I have dropped the LinkedIn account, and if you follow there, you can see all the updates and the upcoming webinars also. And our website have a lot more information for the automation and manufacturing community in India. Do check it out and stay connected with us. And thank you, the audience, once again.
Thank you so much.
And our next session is coming soon, so we will again announce it at the Automation Hub. And thank you for being here, and see you all the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.